Hey, Mayor, why both Roxanne Ziegler and Patty Comerford had some interesting editorials in the Northwest Explorer talking about your friends to the south in Pima County. And then, of course, Chuck came back this week with his editorial, disputing the facts or whatever. Why does Pima County always seem to like to frustrate or do things to Marana that don't seem to be the most positive?
I think it's just we have a different philosophy in life. Marana is the glass is half full, and it's dripping in there, and it's getting better every day, and we're going to create jobs, and we're going to create industry, and we want to move forward. And the county's philosophy, mainly through wastewater, is we're going to have everybody by the throat, and you're not going to do anything without my approval. And Marana has been successful anyway.
Now, the county will deny that, but we know, and we've talked to and we've interviewed dozens of folks that won't come forward because once they do, it's over for them in the future. But this is very much a big deal.
Yeah.
If you control water in the desert, whether it's the tap in or the tap out.
If you control water, we're moving forward in our wastewater. The county sued us over 1171, a state-passed bill that Senator Frank got dropped for us, and we had a lot of people help us on that.
And this has to do with a long-term fight over control of the water destiny in Marana. There was an agreement in '79 that's in dispute now,
right,
that said at any moment that Marana could leave and create their own water system, sewer system.
Right.
And you guys exercised that option, and then that's when the fight ensued.
Right.
So it's been going back and forth. One side won, the other side won. A bill was passed on the legislature basically saying, okay, Marana, you are the owner of this.
And I think that's Marana being innovative and working. We worked with all of the legislatures in District 25, 26, and 30. Frank dropped the bill. But, Al Melvin and Vic Williams and Terry Proud in 26. And
did you get any Democrat crossover in this?
A couple.
Okay.
2 or 3. But both the House and the Senate, this bill passed by a veto-proof majority.
And why it's such a big deal in the Marana world is if someone wants to build a new housing project or a new hotel and restaurants and whatever, they have to have sewer hookup. So if they have to go back to the county to do sewer hookup, and for whatever reason, the county doesn't like the size, the color, the shape, the distance, the whatever, they have a tremendous amount of power to say no in your jurisdiction.
We actually have 19 different events that was a problem. What happens is you come to Marana, you say, I want to build, Chris Munson is a prime example. He owns some property there at Sundario Road on the freeway. I want to build a Hampton Inn. I want to do a few things like this, and let's get things moving up here on these properties. He goes through the Marana process. We approve it. And as soon as he goes to the county, they don't tell him no. They're pretty smart over there.
Absolutely.
We're not sure we're going to have capacity for your new endeavor.
He had the same letter as the Dallas Firefighters Union on the Enchanted Hills thing.
Painted Hills.
Painted Hills, sorry.
So would you
I'm not saying no, but we're just not quite sure we can do this.
If you're an investor, would you go out and borrow $10, $15, $20 million and put it together with your investment group to build a hotel if you're not absolutely guaranteed in writing that you can get a sewer hookup?
I've heard that flushing toilets in hotels is a pretty big deal, pretty important part of being in operations.
little back detail, Higgins.
Yeah, so that's why this is such a big showdown regionally, and part of the game in the county's world is bonding and using revenue bonds to continue to expand the sewer system. There's a huge upgrade coming up that the EPA is saying has to be upgraded. So there's a lot of bonding that needs to happen. And Marana happens to be one of the areas where there's growth and there's future hookups. So there's future revenue streams. So it's all about who controls futures and who controls growth and where it gets grown and how we bond that out. So I found an interesting stat the other day, Mayor, and I was doing some homework. I took the bonding. How much bonds are outstanding? Now, these are on everyone's home, everybody's business that you pay. So there's a tax and a secondary tax. Secondary tax is the bonding. I added all the counties up in the entire state of Arizona. There's, 15, 13. So Apache, Cochise, Cochino, Gila, blah, blah, blah. $578 million in bonding is outstanding in the entire state, minus Pima County. Take a guess how much Pima County alone has. So $500 million is the all counties combined. Pima County alone has $1.47 billion. So they have almost 3 times the total bonding outstanding as every other county in this state combined. So are they functioning more like a city, a county? What is the pushback, or why is this happening?
I think they're functioning more like a city, and about 65% of the people in the county live in a municipality.
Right.
35% are in the county.
I'm one of the 35. I live in the county.
100% of the people are paying the highest property tax in the state.
Correct.
3 times what it is in Maricopa County. So that Pima County can act like a city and provide police and parks and roads and all this kind of stuff for the 350,000 that don't live in cities.
So how much are we
towns.
losing because we're so unincorporated? What's that dollar figure?
About 80 million.
Now, how do you figure that number out?
The way that's calculated, about 350,000 people in this county live in an unincorporated area. About $230 per person for state revenue sharing comes out to about 80 million.
So if you take $230 state shared revenue times 350,000 people in the county, that's $80 million. Is that how that math is done? A year that we're losing. Potentially. I mean,
and you're not going to get it all. I mean, but if you incorporated half of those people.
Maricopa County is 6% unincorporated. Pima County down here is 36% unincorporated. So if you start getting closer
and
to
what we're looking at, and Marana coach, he'd probably be a good coach. Satish Hiremath in Oro Valley talked in his State of the Town last week about supporting incorporations and annexations for current cities and towns. And
does the county block that?
Well, they can't. They cannot help, but I mean, they can't really block it. What we're trying to do is...
They tell the landowner, hey, if you do this annexation, we won't give you the sewer hookup. That's one way to block it.
Yeah.
I was talking about the property on Craycroft and River. Looked at that closely. There's a few other ones that I've been watching very closely on annexation.
But what happens is if we can incorporate a few more municipalities, maybe Green Valley, Vail, Foothills, Casas Adobes, and some of these areas, if we could get half of that 350,000 people incorporated, that brings $40 million into our region for streets and roads. And we really need that right now. And we need those folks out there in those big county islands with hundreds of thousands of people to have a say in what we're doing.
And if you were someone at the county, why wouldn't you want annexation? Let's get real basic. I'm playing the vaudeville act here. Why don't they want annexation?
Well, I think a lot of it's control.
Sure.
I'll give you an example. The 208 that just came before PEC, Marana's wastewater plant.
What's the 208?
It gives us the ability to go in the wastewater business, and we've met all the criteria on paper and done all the studies and everything. But if you start getting 2 or 3 more municipalities that maybe are more independently thinking and stuff, all of a sudden... you lose your control on a lot of these things.
So South Tucson's not independently thinking, and
well,
keep adding it up. Folks, this is a rigged game. That's the part that we're trying to get to, and you don't have to comment on this, Mayor. But when you start adding all these little pieces up, and you start having 10 information officers in the county, you start having over 3 times as much bonding going on your homes and your businesses, and you start looking at the way this place is running. I just mentioned a very important stat this morning, Chris. Tucson, which is the biggest part of Pima County, CNBC ranked them the emptiest city in America as far as vacancy rates. There are no jobs for folks to come, so they're leaving our region. We have overbuilt. We've been too reliant on one industry, which is construction. So there's no real economic, for the last 20 years, no real diversification. So start comparing those conversations that you hear on this show every day, every morning, all these little stats, to what Mayor Ed has been talking about with distribution centers and railroad switch yards and sergeant controls and re-educating their kids to be the future workforce, look at the difference in the dichotomy of how these places are run. It's hard to look. Now, you could split hairs. We can go back and forth and debate, and I'm sure we'll get letters based from the county information office on this conversation right here about who owns water and why they own water, and you said this and we said that. If you got an opinion, come on the show. Let's talk about it. Chuck will come back on and we'll hear the county side, because there is 2 sides to every story. But we watch this stuff very closely, and it's important that you do too. And
I can't believe Marana's doing all this stuff without having a revitalized downtown ethnic studies or a burgeoning art scene.
And we're not imagining anything. We're not blue paneling stuff. We're not.
You mean the basics of
get it done?
Great police force, clean, beautiful town, development services that doesn't drag you through the political mud, development services that you basically get their employees get bonuses based on their survey filled out by the people going through the process. They mean that kind of basic stuff like customer service, clean stuff, safe town, beautiful area. We celebrate our heritage and we have community events. You guys are crazy.
Give me some more of that sweet action.
Give me more of that sweet action.
Baby.
So, all right, 790-2040, wakeuptucson@gmail.com. We got a couple of calls on the line when we come back. We got Mayor Ed. Go to Marana.com if you want to find out more about what's going on with Founders Day and all the other good stuff going on in Marana. So, hey, really, and if you're in Tucson, this is one of those wake-up moments that, hey, 7 minutes north of us, up the I-10, there's people who get it? Yeah, there's people who get it. So if you can sell your house, it might be a good idea to move up there, but at least move your company up there. You might be better off. Wake up, Tucson.